Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Hillsborough, you're on the air at WPLP. Hello, Hillsborough County.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, how you doing there?
Fine.
Bob, I was listening to you, it was on a Saturday about a couple weeks ago. You had the best call in talk radio.
Yes.
Wonder, do you have a recording of that?
Oh, yes. That was a recording.
I enjoyed it. It was the best segment I ever heard on.
Well, you'll be hearing that call later on tonight.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
All right.
Listen to you for a long time. Love you. Love your show.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye. Hillsborough County, you're on the air at WPLP.
Yes, Bob, I'd just like to make a comment about Mr. Jerk. I'm an addict listening to the talk show host during the day and on your station and sometimes on the other one. And Mr. Jerk makes a call on every show every single day, and he pontificates on every subject that you can think of in his life. He's a retired military officer, apparently, and he's moved in this area recently. And I just get sick and tired of listening to this guy. I wish you'd keep him off of there.
I don't think he's a retired military officer.
Well, he told another talk show host he was.
Follow the circus or something.
No, he said he was. He told somebody else he was a retired talk show host. And
but the guy's a fibber. All he does is fib. He called me up last Friday with the same damn thing. Oh, I've got this petition here in front of me with all of these names, but I don't think I'm going to send it in.
I know, he pontificates on every program, and, frequently the other talk show hosts, terminate him as well. I think you ought to terminate the guy.
What do you mean? He's making me rich. It's calls like him that make the show what it is.
Well, maybe so. But, I'll tell you the truth. He's such a dumbbell, it's pitiful. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Pinellas County, you're on the air at WPLP.
Is that me?
That's you.
I wanted to know how I can go about getting a copy of that monologue you gave last night.
You can't.
I can't?
Nope.
Not for sale?
Not for sale.
Well, anyway, I thought it was a damn good.
Well, thank you. No, I wish I could help you out on that, but no, we do not make them available. We just don't have the facilities to do so.
Okay, well, good to talk to you.
Take care. Pinellas County, you're on the air at WPLP. Hello. Sounds to me, honey, like you need a plumber. Pinellas County, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Listen, your first call tonight was that, wasn't it your first call about the guy in the jail?
Right.
Who was arrested?
Right.
Well, I think you should have, see, your problem is,
My problem?
I listened to your thing, your problem.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, your show was just superb.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a monologue that went on for an hour and a half?
That's right.
Okay. Now, tonight you don't have a subject, if you want to call it that.
This is an open hour. This is an open hour. That's correct.
Well, John Eastman would have taken that thing and ran with it.
Uh-huh.
But if you're not up to handling spontaneous conversations the way John Eastman is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing you did last night was beautiful, but you probably sat around all week long writing that up.
No, I didn't write it up for openers. And I only worked on it yesterday.
Really?
Really.
You've been working on that all your life.
Do you have any idea how many words are involved in an hour and a half monologue?
I realized, Bob, that was the most beautiful thing last night you did.
Well, I'd be delighted to tell you. As I was saying, I speak at approximately 220 words a minute. Okay? And in the hour and 35 minutes that I spoke, I was actually on the air all but about 15 of them, so that's 120 minutes. Okay, so that's 220. 220 times 120. That's about 26,400 words, sir. Do you have any idea how long it would take to write 26,400 words? Have any idea at all?
No, why don't you tell me?
Weeks.
Weeks.
That's right, sir.
Well, see, my point is, when you don't have a thing like you did last night, which was elegant and superb, tonight you're going into another whole thing, and you just want to get this. This is not a talk show. This is just people calling in, and I don't know. It's ridiculous when you can do things the way you do so well, and then you get a guy calling in like that first caller.
Well, I would suggest to you that you tape. Sir, I would suggest to you that you tape the John Eastman show and listen to it at night.
Well, why can't you have a little bit of John Eastman in you?
Well, sir, because John Eastman has a 2 rating and I have a 4. That's why. Any other questions?
No.
Good.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Hillsborough, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hi.
Hi.
Bob?
Yes.
Listen, I called you a little while ago. I hope you'll bear with me. I won't take but a second of your time. But my daughter doesn't believe I called in and asked you about Mary and how she's doing. Okay?
Yes.
Can you verify that for me?
Yes, I'll verify it.
I did it, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Okay, we love her. My daughter's 14 and I'm 38. And we really love your show and we love Mary and we miss her. And I wanted her to know I did that. She didn't get to hear it before.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. St. Pete, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hello, Bob.
Hello.
Being that you get into religion sometimes, I got a couple of people you might want to check out one of these days. One of them is Father Divine. You ever heard of him?
Yes.
And you heard about the Crescent Unity?
No.
Well, they're down in Estero. I don't know if they're still there or not. They got the belief that we live on the inside of the world instead of the outside. So I don't know if they're still alive or not. Real small, but if you might be interested in it, you could check into it.
Well, okay.
If not, well, so much.
All right. God, it took him forever to hang up.
To join in the conversation, the number to call...
Ooh, I made that mistake. Sorry, back to Bob.
8:41 the time. Safety Harbor. Hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Fine.
Hey, this is Mr. Funzler from Safety Harbor.
Well, hi there, Mr. Funzler.
Yeah, my trial up there in New York and the Getz trial is going so good. And with the Marine trial, things are going so good that I was taking time off today and listening to your program tonight. And if you can put me in connection with the guy, your first caller, the guy that was staggering down the street, I think I could take his case on a contingency basis. He really has a case, okay? All right. Well, I got to go chase this ambulance. I'll be back.
Okay. Aren't there laws against making threatening phone calls? Tampa, you're on there at WPLP.
Hello, Bob.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
Got a question for you.
Okay.
Big Brother is watching me.
Big Brother is watching you?
Big Brother. Why should my car with the new Florida license plates, with the, like the blue-green insignia Florida, there is a hologram in the center of it.
That's true.
You know it?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad somebody does, because I wanted to ask if I've never heard of it. And it says, like, you know, I think it says 86 and a little hologram of Florida. What is it for?
I have no idea.
You don't either?
Nope.
Okay. I was just curious because there's only a certain way the sun shines on it when you wash your car and you see it. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Glad to clear that up for you.
Thank you.
Well, Lutz, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hello, Bob.
Hi.
Your program last night was superb. I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
But the question I have for you goes back to last Friday night, about 10:20. You broke out into laughter and kind of a fit of joy and said that something had come through that you'd been waiting for. And you'd tell us later what it was.
That's not what I said at all.
Well, similar.
Well, I said that something had happened that just changed my entire life right there on the spot.
So you did.
I had been born again, so to speak.
So you did.
Right.
And you said you'd tell us later what it was.
That's correct. I did say that.
But I missed it if you told.
No, I haven't.
Okay, got to keep us in suspense.
That's correct.
Okay, Bob. We'll wait.
At least until the ratings period is over.
Well, I hope they're good for you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Pinellas Park, you're on the air at WPLP.
We are Orb Creek. creatures from the planet Zebu. We have come to take you home, Bob.
Well, that explains an awful lot.
Bob!
Oh, you're still there.
I disagree with everything you say. Bob!
Okay.
Bob!
Yes.
Why do you let all those people call you up like that?
Like what?
Bob!
Yes. Is that about it? I guess it is. Last chance. Madeira Beach, you're on the air at WPLP.
Yeah, Bob in Madeira Beach, Bob.
Yes.
Yeah. I just wondered, Bob, if it wouldn't be a good idea if Nicaragua and took over the country like we did in Grenada, or we simply surrendered to Russia.
Well, first of all, because you use language like that, you're gone. McMillan Booth Road, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hello, Bob.
Hi.
Yeah, Bob, I wondered whether or not you've ever driven up or down McMullen Booth Road in Pinellas County.
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Well, it goes right past the Kapok Tree Inn, and it's the only scenic corridor left in Pinellas County. And the reason that I'm calling, excuse me, I'm a little nervous. I've never called you before.
It's all right, I've never talked to you before either.
There you go.
So I'm a little
well, we
nervous
both drive Volvos at least.
No, I don't have my Volvo anymore.
Oh, really?
No, I got rid of it.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason that I'm calling is I live about 100 feet from McMullen Booth Road. Mm-hmm. It's a nice two-lane road. They're in the process of four-laning it, and then they're going to six-lane it, and then they're going to put in a bridge from the airport section of St. Petersburg over into McMullen Booth Road.
Mm-hmm.
And what this is going to result in is a lot of high-speed, heavy traffic, which is going to screw up the residential area and destroy the scenic corridor, and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. They passed a 2-cent gas tax, but I don't hear any talk about it. Doesn't anybody care that they're going to tear up one of the nicest throughways in the area?
Apparently not.
Well, I do. Maybe I'm the only one.
Apparently, I would think.
Well, we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago on Safety Harbor, which the commissioners attended, and they all pretty much put it on the development committee of the county and said that their hands were tied. But I don't understand why nobody brings up the fact that we're going to be funneling all the downtown St. Petersburg and Clearwater traffic through what is the last scenic corridor in Pinellas County.
I don't have any answers for you.
Well, maybe sometime you'll take a drive up or down McMullen Booth Road before they mess it up.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Tampa, you're on the air at WPLP.
Bob.
Oh, brother.
You screwed up again, Bob.
I did.
You have no conception of what the Bill of Rights is all about.
I don't.
You Neanderthal subhuman pig.
Well, would you like to enlighten me, Lionel?
Sure. Somebody called up before and seemed to go forever on some type of...
You got a hell of a lot of nerve complaining about callers going forever, Lionel.
Shut up and let me finish, Bob.
I'm the only one that gets to say shut up, Lionel.
Well...
But I'll let you finish.
Right. I don't blame you. Based upon how lousy the show's been this evening, I don't blame you.
Lousy? What do you mean? I've had some great calls tonight.
Bob.
Had fantastic calls tonight.
You're recognizing real talent.
Till about 8:48.
Now, you made some statement before that the First Amendment disallows, precludes, proscribes people, entities, corporate entities from, limiting or prohibiting or what have you speech.
The First Amendment only forbids the government from prohibiting free speech.
That's exactly my point.
Well, that's what I said.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Play back the tape.
Oh, give me a break.
Play it back, Bob.
It will be played back later. It will be played back later in the program, Lionel.
Oh, tremendous. Barron versus Baltimore. What you pointed out was the same mistake that most of you Neanderthal subhuman...
Lionel, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't make a mistake, Lionel.
In your mind, you didn't, but that means a lot. By the way, where's the chick I'm supposed to talk to at your station? Tell that to Serial. He'll understand.
The chick that you're supposed to talk to at the station?
Where's the chick?
What's he talking about?
I called up Serial. He said, here's a chick who wants to talk to you. What he said, I heard giggling in the background. I waited, and they put you on. I wanted to talk to the chick.
Lionel, there aren't any chicks that want to talk to you. The only people that want to talk to you are poor, forlorn talk show hosts.
Mad hog.
Who desperately need calls and who get 20 cents for every call. They're the only people that want to talk to you.
Listen, Mad hog, calm down. You need me right now. Friday night.
I need you. Wait a... Whoa. What do you mean I need you? One second. Lionel, I'm going to put you on hold. 1 second, okay? Hello, are you there? Hello?
No.
I'll put you on hold. Hello, are you there?
Yeah.
Hello, are you there? Hello, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't need you, Lionel.
What?
Didn't you just hear that? I don't need you.
Oh.
What do you mean? The only reason I have you on is because I need you.
Listening. You've got these losers listening. Oh, tremendous. I'm thrilled. I'm being upstaged by a bunch of nyokos. That's all it is.
You'd be upstaged by static.
Let them talk. Let them talk. Let them say something. I'm waiting.
What do you mean you're waiting?
I'm waiting to hear this cacophony of crap that you've culled together in the last second. Let's hear it.
I put them back on hold, Lionel.
Put this
Just
on
like
hold.
I put you on hold.
Oh, come on. Let's all talk at the same time like WFLA does, where we all talk at the same time. Put them on now with me and you.
I don't do a show like Paul G. Golly Whiz.
Because you can't.
What do you mean I can't?
And you never will be able to.
Oh, give me
You know it, and I know it.
Oh, Lionel.
And it's about time that you admit.
Lionel,
That's the radio listening public here that you are spineless and testicular.
Did you know that you're going to be on the show later on tonight, Lionel?
What, pray tell? What show?
Well, you see, at 9 o'clock, I have Dr. Lois Mueller coming in.
She's back? You resurrected Lois Mueller from the dead?
Yes.
From years ago?
From years ago.
The Lois Mueller?
The Lois Mueller. And guess what? She's going to analyze you.
Give me some NyQuil. Somebody, quick.
Your call will be coming up, Your call will be the second call.
Let me add a few things to it while we're at it. Lois, where have you been? Where in the hell have you been? I remember Lois Mueller when she was a nobody on your nowhere station years ago, but I liked her. She had spunk. Unlike you, Lassiter. You spineless communist faggot pig. You know it, and I know it.
Lionel.
Great. There's nothing like talking to dead space. Don't you know the first rule of radio is don't ever let the airways be dead? Don't you know that, Lassiter, Mr. Big Man?
Well, Lionel, since you're going to be on the show after 9 o'clock, I think I'll move on to somebody else now, and you can sit there in breathless anticipation and see what Dr. Miller has to say about you.
Oh, this is tremendous. From a radio psychologist?
From a radio psychologist.
What is that worth? About, nothing.
When she's analyzing you, it ought to be good for quite a few laughs. But Lionel, I do have to...
A radio psychologist in St. Petersburg.
A radio psychologist.
That's worth a lot.
There he goes, sitting slowly in the sun.
That'll come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that...
Station. Right back to the phones we go. Hi, Tampa, you're on the air at WPLP.
Yeah, Bob, I think you're a big, fat faggot, and I got somebody here that wants to say something to you. Bobby boy. Bobby boy. Hello, Bobby boy. Are you there? Hello? Bobby boy. You must be in shock about those petitions. I wouldn't be, I'd feel the same way. I'd just like to tell all your listeners, I'll be at Tampa Bay Center tomorrow, from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, so come on out and get some petitions. And while you're at it, switch the dial to WFLA. You'll hear a very interesting program.
Tampa, you're on the air, WPLP. Hello, Tampa.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, hello.
This is Bob.
Yes,
Yeah,
this
Bob,
is Bob.
I was going to ask you, what do you think about Cuban people?
What do I think about Cuban people?
Yeah.
I don't think about Cuban people.
Well, you know, I work with them, and, you know,
Well, I guess that's why you think about them. I don't.
You know, I expect you to, you know, talk that language, you know, when you're working with them. And it's kind of, you know, it's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I don't speak Cuban.
I didn't know there was such a language.
You know, it is, you know, it taught, you know, I've been working in the coffee mill for about 3 years now.
Uh-huh.
And everybody, Spanish, Cubans, you know, and they drive me crazy. And, you know, they expect me to, you know, to understand Spanish. But, you know, they should understand American people.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I would basically be in agreement.
Well, take care now.
Okay, you too.
Yeah, thank you.
St. Pete, you're on the air at WPLP.
Bob,
Yes.
did I understand you to say that you were number 4, rated number 4, and John Eastman 2?
No, ma'am. I said John Eastman had a 2 share and I had a 4 share.
A 4 what?
A 4 share.
Well, I think
It's actually
those who give you
4.5.
number 4, they should be the ones that should be psychologically analyzed tonight,
Mm-hmm. You mean people like yourself?
like you.
No, people like... No, ma'am. Ma'am, you see, it's people like you that have made me the top-rated Tampa Bay talk show host. And as a matter of fact, let's flag that one. We'll give her wish.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce Mr. Bob Lassiter.
About 7 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock, I say about, because strangely enough, I don't have a clock in front of me, and that just drives me insane. It's a terrible way to do a radio show. Welcome back, hour number 2 on this Friday night, May 15th, 1987. And as promised, I have a guest in studio with me tonight. Her name is Dr. Lois Mueller, Ph.D., a licensed clinical psychologist. Dr. Mueller, I should say, welcome back to WPLP. You have one time did a show here.
Thank you. Yes, it feels like home.
Old home week, yes, I understand. Well, Dr. Mueller, a couple of weeks ago, I got to thinking, I receive a lot of very strange calls. And I thought it might be fun and interesting to bring in a psychologist, play back some of these calls, and analyze them as to what the motivation is, whether they're serious, not serious, whether these people should seek help, whether I should seek shelter, or whatever it might be. And I have no idea how this is going to work. I've never heard anybody do it before. But I thought it would be interesting, and you were kind enough to say you thought it might be interesting and fun, too.
Yeah, I thought it would be, and I've never done anything like that before either, so it'll be an experiment for both of us.
Okay, I don't see any reason, we'll get right down to business, and we'll chat in between the calls. And by the way, if you folks would like to call up and disagree or agree, or whatever the case might be with Dr. Mueller, that's fine with me. The first caller is someone that we refer to as the petitioner and his friend Jim. The petitioner calls up, and apparently, at least it's, I suspect, you may have a different opinion, holds his nose, kind of like this, to change the sound of his voice. And the petitioner says that he is standing out in front of Circle K's all over the greater Tampa Bay area, collecting signatures on a petition to get me removed from the air. I'm not quite sure what his grievance is with me. I don't believe we've ever really explored that. He's called 5 or 6 times. Actually, he was on the phone right before the 9 o'clock hour. And so This call that we'll be listening to tonight is about 3 or 4 weeks old. And it runs roughly 4.5 minutes. And we will pick it up in the middle of the call. And Michael Serio standing by. We will go to the petitioner and his friend Jim. I may not be able to finish the program tonight with you speaking to me that way.
Yeah, I'm the support structure of your program, I can tell.
What, you're a supporter?
No,
Is that what we used to call a jockstrap?
See, can't you listen, Bobby boy? See, you can't hear. You're worrying, Bob. You'll be gone pretty soon. Maybe even before me.
Maybe.
At the rate I'm going.
Oh, it has nothing to do with you.
No, it has to do with you.
That's right.
And you'll be gone.
It's a possibility.
And it's not a possibility, it's a fact.
You really think so? Why, do you know something I don't?
A lot more.
You're kidding. What do you know?
See, Bobby boy, if you read the Bible, you know a lot of stuff.
Oh, I do read the Bible.
Obviously, you just read newspapers and...
Oh, no, I read the Bible.
TV and you figure you know everything. You come on the radio...
Oh, I rarely watch TV. Rarely watch TV.
Talking all this garbage, and you come...
I'm not even home at night like you are.
What all, Bobby?
By the way, why are you home at night every night?
Excuse me?
Why are you always home every night?
I'm not at my house. I'm at a friend's.
Oh, come on. You don't have a friend. Put the friend on the phone. Prove it. Prove to us that you have a friend.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Jim? Come here. Yes, hello?
Jim, Jim, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Jim, why do you sound just like the other guy except that you're not holding your nose?
I have no idea.
Well, we'll assume, Jim, that you're not the other guy. Jim, you have very poor taste in friends. I don't want to say anything, Jim. You know, it's not really my thing to complain about other people's friends, but couldn't you do better than that? Is there a boys' club or something in your neighborhood?
What is the purpose of this statement?
I'm trying to help you enlarge your circle of friends, Jim.
Oh, I have many friends.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Then why do you let that particular one come over and use your phone?
Because he's very nice.
He's very nice? He's not nice, Jim.
He saved my son's life before.
Saved your son's life?
Yes, he did.
How?
In my swimming pool.
In your swimming pool? Is that where he got that nasal problem? What, did you have too much chlorine in there or something and the water went up inside his nose?
Okay. I don't think he has a nasal problem. He's a nice man.
He does have a nasal problem. Can't you hear that voice of his? Sounds like he's pinching his nose when he talks on the phone.
Well, he wants to talk to you, so I'll be going.
Oh, okay. Bye, Jim.
Well, Bobby boy, I'm going to get you.
See, it's the same guy. You don't have any friends. You have no friends at all. What a sad, pathetic thing it is that you sit home at night, you call up a talk radio station, and you fib about having friends.
You know, Bobby boy...
You're the most pathetic person I've ever met. I feel sorry for you.
Bobby boy, when you are on the street, sitting on the sidewalk, I'm going to come up to you...
Poor man sits at home at night, has nothing, all by himself, has nothing to do but pinch his nose and call up my show, and worse than that, pretends to be somebody else who's a friend of his.
I'm going to approach you with all my...
Why don't you get a teddy bear at least? Do you have a teddy bear that you can talk to? Do you have a teddy bear that you can talk to?
Watch you with all my friends.
You don't have any friends. If you had friends, they'd be over at your house tonight. They'd be drinking beer and eating pretzels and having a good time.
Bobby boy, the 432 signatures are my friends.
Right.
Bobby boy.
Well, why aren't your friends over at your house tonight eating beer and drinking pretzels and sending out for pizzas?
Right now.
Watching, movies and things like that, like most normal guys your age have. Why? I'll tell you why, because you're a jerk.
You know, the word jerk is too nice a name for you, Bobby boy.
Well, it is, but that's besides the point.
When you're sitting on the sidewalk,
But I get paid to do this. I get paid to do that. I have friends.
I'm going to come up to you, Bobby boy. I'm going to come up to you with all my friends, and you're going to see my friends. And I'm going to show you their signatures on the petition while you're sitting on the street, Bobby boy.
I feel so sorry. You have no friends. Hey, God, the door just opened. Here come some of my friends. Hi, friends. Hey, Hey, you see, I got a studio full of friends. Oh, right, you got the pizzas and everything?
Numbers that put you on the air at WPLP.
Well, Dr. Miller, that is the petitioner and his friend, Jim.
Quite a combination.
Do you suspect the same thing that I suspected?
About the friends?
Yes.
I think so. I think probably you get right to the heart of the issue. You know how to find the weak spot and go after it.
Oh, you flatter me, Dr. Miller.
Well, I didn't say that was necessarily a good trait.
Oh, I see. Well, what do you think about the petitioner?
Well, from what I heard of him and from what you told me, this guy is pretty secretive.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously afraid he's going to be recognized on the air. Whether he's known by that many people or not, I suspect he's not, but he worries about it. He's obviously religious. That seems to be where his beef is with you. And he probably thinks that most people know what he means. He thinks that you can pretty much read his mind and know what he's saying, so he doesn't have to tell you why he objects to you.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, he expects that you know that. It's understood, which is a gap in communication.
Well, one of the strange things is about a week and a half after that call, he took part in another radio show at this station, a dating show that required him to give his name and phone number.
And you recognized his voice?
Yes. His name is Sean.
Uh-huh.
And we also have his last name. And he stayed away for a couple of days, but tonight he showed up again right before 9 o'clock.
So now he knows for the first time that you know his name?
No, well, I don't know for a...
Going to make him very uncomfortable.
You think so?
I would guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Well, a lot of people call on talk radio that would never talk to you face-to-face.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain privacy there and anonymity, and it's safe. And I think he's probably one of those people.
Well, what do you think he's calling for? Obviously, he knows I don't believe he has petitions, and even if he did, it wouldn't make any difference.
He may feel that it's a way of exercising some power over you. That wouldn't surprise me. And may believe that he really can get you out for whatever way he's going about it.
Do you think I gave him any indication at all in that call that I fear him?
No, I didn't get that impression.
Our next caller, a man that we know as Lionel. Whether or not that's his real name, nobody knows. Lionel has been a habitual caller to talk shows in this market as long as there have been talk shows. He's relatively selective. He doesn't call everyone. Lionel has primarily two personalities. He will be either extremely serious and take part in a very heavy conversation, or he will call up and just ramble almost incoherently. We will hear him in this call rambling almost incoherently. Lionel was banned from this program for a period of about 2 months. Not because he had done anything bad, just because I got tired of hearing his voice. And so I came in one night, I just come back from my vacation, and I read off a list of 7 people, the Magnificent 7, who I just didn't want to talk to anymore for a while, and Lionel was one of them. This is his first call back after I rescinded the banishment. I said, all is forgiven, you guys can come back. And Lionel waited 2 or 3 days, and we will pick up the call again in mid-conversation. This runs about 6 minutes.
I think I heard Lionel earlier.
Yes, Lionel was on the program again earlier tonight. Many of these people that we'll be hearing tonight are habituals. So we will pick up the call in mid-conversation. Michael, if you'll do the honors, please.
I was surprised by you when you did that. It was terrible because I didn't even know I was banned. But when I found out, I became incensed.
Oh, Lionel, you do know that you were banned.
Moi? I had to talk to Carolyn to find out what the hell is going on. Did you know that? I had to go out into the field, for crying out loud, to find out what the hell is going on.
What was Carolyn doing out in the field?
Waiting for you to come up on the horse. By the way, have you seen Shoah? Are you taping Shoah?
How the hell can I see Shoah? I work at night.
Taping, putz. Read my lips. Taping. Are you taping the show?
No, I'm not taping the show.
Let me tell you, they made a big deal of...
Mary sits at home at night when I'm working and watches XXX rated movies. I can't tape.
With a large black man named Lewis. Let me ask you something. You know, the show was heralded as being...
Well, wait a second. I've got to go back and correct something I just said. She does not sit home watching XXX rated movies. She sits home and watches Art Van Damme how to play the accordion videotapes.
That's wonderful. Shoah. I watched a little bit of that. There was a scene with a Polish guy talking to a French person who translated Polish into French, and then he had to read the English subtitle.
This is not a movie for dyslexics, let me tell you. It was awful, though. It was an awful movie. I think everybody should see it, including you. Why don't you shut down, play the Eagles, and get the hell out, go home and watch something and learn something. Learn something. If you
and miss out on all this fun I'm having tonight?
Do you realize if you and everybody at PLP closed your show down, just turned off the power and went home for a week and a half, nobody'd know the difference?
Oh, I beg your pardon. People would miss me. Hey, Lionel, I'm top banana, baby. I am top banana in this town.
How much do you make a year, Bob? Be honest.
About 8,400.
Huh?
About 8,400.
8,400 a year.
Yeah.
Come on.
But that's only because I cut lawns on Saturday and Sunday.
Be real.
Just from the station, 6,200.
Springboard for you. Yogi doesn't have the money.
Well, that's for sure.
Come on, get out. How much do you pay? You're supposed to be Mr. Honest. Tell us how much you make a year. After all, we help you make that.
Well, actually, you guys don't help me make it.
Oh,
I'd
we
make
don't?
more if you helped.
Good. Okay, you people...
Are you going to join the 570 Club?
You heard that at home? Yeah, the old people too. You know, you talk a lot of crap about the old people, but I'll tell you one thing: the reason they're old is because
they've lived so long.
They're not fat, huge. They're not whale-like. They don't smoke a lot of cigarettes, and they live a long time. That's why they're old. You will never join them. You will be doing something, playing racquetball, maybe in a couple of years.
Man. Just because I banned him for a couple of months.
You'll feel a pain start in your groin and radiate up your arm, and you're going to be dropped dead like a mackerel.
Funny, I noticed a pain starting in my groin and radiating up my left arm about 10 minutes and 10 seconds ago.
Well, call Mary. I'll take over the show, put the calls through me, run home. Run home to your ramshackle little apartment with a light bulb that hangs from the string, and go and call your big buddy Dave.
Yo, whoa, Lionel. If you thought for a second that I was going to turn over the kind of calls I'm getting tonight to you, you are crazy.
That's right. Why spoil
You should have called one night last week when I couldn't buy one.
Why spoil them?
But tonight I've got a full board. I've got these great calls.
I could destroy you.
I'm going to send this tape
to
New York. And they're going to fire Howard Stern. And I'm going to get the $1 million a year job. Stern can't... Have you ever heard Stern?
You out of the water.
Have you ever heard Howard Stern? $1 million a year. The little guy comes in and he talks like this.
You are jealous.
And he says things like weenie.
You are
and
jealous.
Everybody goes, oh, God, isn't he great?
Jealous.
He's so original. Howard said weenie.
You are a person. You are a big, baby, jealous person who smokes like a fiend and should be slapped silly for that.
I don't smoke like a fiend. I smoke like a Parisian.
Yeah, like a queerbait. You hold it in that inverted German, Parisian, Viennese. You say Vel, what do you want? Let me tell you something. You take us for granted. You think we're going to be around for the rest of your life.
Hey, Lionel, there's nothing like this in this town. And if you guys want exciting talk radio, you've got no other place to go.
Who doesn't?
The audience. The audience. There's nothing else like this in town.
No, and there's nothing like a colonoscopy either. But I don't really care for that.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's go down the list.
Pathetic.
You've got... Hi, my name's Jack Ellery. Send me some money for anything, any cause. I'll give it to a good cause.
Pathetic. You know that? Seriously.
Mr. Green Thumb with his Battle of the Begonias on the weekends.
Rule number one, forget your competition. How many times do I have to...
I don't have any competition.
Some spies for FLA?
I don't have any competition.
Why don't you talk about WSUN or GTO or one of those other hick stations? Give them credit, too. If I were Yoki, I'd go in and slap the hell out of you. I'd say, what are you talking about the other people for?
He tried the other day, but I snapped his suspenders.
Yoki sounds
running down the hall, howling, oh, Lassiter slapped my suspenders. Oh, what's up?
Describe what Yoki looks like. Is he a little wimp? Because you'd kill him. It's true. You sit on him and you kill him. You're a big guy.
Oh, Yoki's about 6'4", weighs about 280.
Sure. How tall are you, Bob?
6'2".
6'2"? You look a lot taller than that. How much do you weigh in stone, please?
In stone? Well, 1 second here. How
much is a stone, by the way?
I weigh approximately 18 stone. Lionel.
I think Lionel's very funny. He's got a great sense of humor. And I think he loves being listened to. I think he was serious. He'd love to take your show over. He feels he's got a lot to teach other people.
Well, when I went away on vacation, we did everything under our power to sucker Lionel into coming in and sitting in for me for at least one night. And for a while he said he would, and then he just totally chickened out and he wouldn't do it.
Scared him, huh?
Scared him.
Well, this is a much safer way for him to go, right? Calling you up, and he can be on the show without having to carry the ball and, have to actually run it.
Should I fear Lionel?
As competition?
No, for, as an attacker.
Are you serious? Lionel? I don't think he would attack.
Harmless man.
Oh, yeah. I think he's very engaging. He likes to play. He likes to banter. He likes to throw out his sarcasm and see what happens.
Was he really hurt that he'd been banned from the show?
I think he definitely was. He may not be real sensitive to other people's feelings, but I think he's very sensitive to his own hurt feelings.
Why would you say he's not sensitive to other people's feelings?
Well, a lot of people can be that way. They're easily hurt, but they don't realize that they can hurt other people just as easily. They can't put themselves in other people's shoes.
Is Lionel trying to hurt me?
I don't know. I don't really see him as a vicious kind of guy. I think he wants to poke at you and see if you'll poke him back and play.
But he says terrible things to me.
Well, you say some terrible things back to people, don't you?
That's different.
That's different.
I get paid to do it. Lionel's doing it for free.
That's
All of
true.
these people are doing it for free.
That's true.
Why do people listen to that kind of a call? Why do people listen to this kind of a show?
Oh, for years, hasn't talk radio been called hate radio?
In some markets.
I think a lot of angry people like to listen.
But
they'd love to hear somebody get somebody.
But there's nothing quite like this in Tampa Bay. I do basically two different types of shows. I will either do something extremely serious, I'm somewhat like Lionel, or I will just come in and goof on people, such as I did tonight in the first hour, some of which you heard. Why do people listen to that?
Well, I think you got a lot of people who have the same two sides to them. I got that from your first caller, the petitioner. If indeed that was the same fellow talking to you both times with two different voices, I think there's a part of him, the Jim character, that's very serious and cognitive and kind of intellectual, probably not a real social, outgoing kind of guy. And then there's the other side that would like to be, livelier, interact more with people, horse around more, loosen up. And I think probably you got a lot of listeners who have both those sides to them.
Are the petitioner and Lionel likely to listen after they've been on? Will they listen to the remainder of the show, or do they just...
Oh, I'm sure they would, to hear what people might say about them. That's part of the payoff of calling. Wouldn't you say?
I don't know. Dr. Lois Mueller is my guest. We'll take a break and return.
Mad Max presents
psychologist, my guest in studio, and we're going over some calls that have come in over the last, I think they go back about 2 months. Because, we worry about our callers, Dr. Miller. We go home at night and lay awake worrying about them. Some of them are rather strange people. This third one, we will refer to him as the boycotter. This is one of the very few calls, probably the only call tonight, that is not a humorous call by any stretch of the imagination. As I have already explained to you off the air, my mood changes dramatically during the course of this call. It had been a relatively light-hearted show to this point. And the boycotter is someone that I first encountered last August, I believe it was. It was the first time I heard of this man. He called up. He's from apparently Holiday. And he attempted, unsuccessfully I should also point out, to start something that is referred to as either a third party or a secondary boycott against the advertisers of the station because the station employed me. Something that didn't particularly thrill me very much. He then went away, and we didn't hear from him for a real long time. And suddenly one night he showed up. And Michael, if you'll do the honors, we will again pick up the conversation in the middle, and it runs approximately 9 minutes. I believe we're picking it up in the middle, and it runs approximately 9 minutes, and this is what happened. Holiday, you're on there at WPLP.
Yeah, I'd like to know who told you that this FCC ruling violates your First Amendment rights.
Nobody had to tell me, sir. I'm not one of those people that has to be told what to think.
Well, this is interesting because this ruling not only doesn't it violate your First Amendment rights.
Oh, I beg your pardon, it quite does.
Well, the reason why it doesn't is
what does the First Amendment? What does the First Amendment protect?
The reason why.
What does the First Amendment protect?
Free speech.
No, unpopular speech.
Well,
That's what it protects. And the only exception to it is speech that damages or hurts another individual.
However, okay, you don't have free speech because you don't have the right to broadcast at all because you've been granted the privilege to broadcast.
No, I haven't, sir. No, sir.
License.
No, I don't have an FCC license, sir.
Oh, your station doesn't?
No, the station does, but I don't.
You see, you can go out and buy a newspaper or publishing rights or stand on a soapbox and have your First Amendment
Yes,
rights.
you also buy an FCC license, sir.
Yeah, that's granted to you.
No, sir, you buy it. No, you're quite wrong. It is not granted. It is purchased.
It is purchased, but according to your disclaimer every year, you are granted the license to...
No, you're granted a renewal. You're granted a renewal. The original license, the original construction permit is purchased from the government.
But the fact remains, we're not dealing with a private newspaper. We're dealing with something that no one can own.
Yes, we're dealing with the public airwaves. I'm glad you brought that up. And 69 people in a metropolitan area of 8 million in Philadelphia and a metropolitan area of close to 20 million in New York, 69 people have dictated what will be heard by over 10% of the country. Yes, sir, they are public airwaves. I quite agree with you. They are public airwaves. And 69 fanatics, 69 prudes have strong-armed the Federal Communications Commission into coming out with a form of censorship.
We've got government commissions that act upon complaints.
Oh, really?
Glad. That's good.
16. I'm hard pressed. I'm hard pressed. I'm hard pressed, sir, to think about. Well, for example, how about if 69 people complained about sending money to Nicaragua?
Well, you'd have to prove that that's in violation of the law. What's wrong with that? Who are they going to complain to?
Oh, sir, there was no violation of the law in the case of Howard Stern. He hasn't been indicted for anything. He hasn't been arrested for anything. He's just been told arbitrarily that if in the future he does it, he'll be in major trouble.
That's right.
So he's not in the violation of any law, sir, because no law exists. It is a ruling. It is an opinion.
Is that since no one owns the airwaves, it's up to the government to police them. It is up to the government, the Congress, the representatives of the people.
Well, sir, you're forgetting,
what shall go.
Sir, you're forgetting a very major point, and we will not continue the discussion until you come back and address this point. Free speech is protected under the First Amendment of this country. Free speech under the First Amendment is what is unpopular. It gives you the right to say what is unpopular.
You have the right to say anything
unless
you want.
it hurts somebody. Sir, tell me, sir, what saying weenie, or who, by my saying weenie, in referring to the male member, tell me who that damages, sir. Tell me who that hurts.
That's a moot point.
No, it's not a moot point, sir. We're talking about a First Amendment right in this country. It is not a moot point. You tell me who it hurts. You tell me who it hurts. I mean, I don't care how much of a prude you are and how offensive you find it. It doesn't hurt or damage you. And you have the right, sir, to go over and turn it off.
And you have the right to say anything you please, but not over the public airwaves. You want to get a soapbox? Get a soapbox. You want to buy a newspaper? Buy a newspaper.
Oh, in other words, because you don't like something, I can't say it. Is that what you're telling me, sir?
I have the right to complain to the FCC.
I hope the rest of you are listening to this conversation. Shut up! I said, I hope the rest of you are listening to this conversation and are getting out your envelopes now, your self-addressed stamped envelopes, because this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with, all right.
Yeah, we're dealing with a prude who doesn't like it.
Think you own the airwaves.
Who doesn't even hear it.
You think you own
it doesn't even involve the Tampa Bay area. You don't even have to hear it. As you've already told me, you've never even heard Howard Stern.
I own the airwaves just as much as you or anybody else does.
You got it, fella. They are public airwaves, and 69 people like you are not going to control them.
Okay, friend? You better mind your P's and Q's, pal.
Oh, is that a threat?
Yeah.
Oh, how's that, sir?
Because I have to straighten out one of your other comments saying that the 200 complaints the FCC got about you was because you were running down the president. Wrong. They got complaints because of you openly advocating discrimination against religious groups based upon their religious beliefs. Why? Because I wrote some of them, pal.
Oh, really? What's your name?
What's my name?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you my name.
Oh, why not, coward?
Too bad.
Why not, coward? You're the man that advocates a third-party boycott, which is a federal offense.
That's why, because
You're the man who has advocated a third-party boycott. Shut up! You're the man who has advocated a third-party boycott, which is a public offense, or a federal offense, excuse me. I'm not in the least bit surprised you would want to give us your name.
Oh, why don't you go ahead and cite me the law, then? Boycotting is a federal offense.
A third-party boycott is.
This is great. Listen to this. Mr. First Amendment here, Mr. Freedom. Boycottings are illegal. What else should be illegal, Bob?
Oh, no, sir. I didn't say... sir, jerk. I didn't say boycotting is illegal. Third-party boycotting is illegal.
Where does it... Well, tell me. Where's the law that says so?
You'll find out if we ever find out who you are.
Oh, really? That's another muley threat.
Well, then why don't you give us your name?
I'm not going to give... Because I've received threats from you and your station already.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Cite them.
Threats.
Physical threats from me and my station.
That's right.
Oh, you're just a hopeless liar, and you call yourself a Christian.
Want me to tell you the people who threaten me? You want me to give you their names?
Yeah.
Let's see. One is named Johnson.
Johnson,
The other one, that's his last name.
Uh-huh.
And the other one's name is Connolly.
Uh-huh.
How do you like that, pal?
Well, why don't you file charges since you've made accusations?
Why? I don't need to.
Oh, you don't need to?
No, because I know they don't know who I am.
Oh.
I'm going to keep it that
Yeah,
way.
we know who you are. You're a blatant liar.
Yeah, I'm a liar.
That's right.
I'm a liar. Yeah.
You're a liar unless and until you back up the accusations.
Well,
you are a liar.
The party's over, pal, and you're going to have to start minding your P's and Q's.
Oh, really?
Respect the other people in this country who also own the public airways.
Uh-huh.
The public airways, not your little private party line.
Uh-huh.
If you want to have your little private party line, go buy yourself a cable show.
Really?
You liberal geeks were crying about Playboy on cable. And all you liberals are saying, well, it's not like it's being broadcast.
Uh-huh.
Now that obscenities are being broadcast, all you liberals wimp out and want to change the...
Oh, you want to talk about wimps? You're the wimp, baby.
Yeah.
You're the wimp. You're the wimp who sits there anonymously making accusations that you can't back up. You're the wimp who sits there violating the federal law of this nation and won't come forward. That's right, a third-party boycott's a violation of the federal law.
Pocket, pal. I don't have no license in my pocket.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got it, baby.
You gotta stop being a little more responsible with yours.
Oh, really? I don't have one. I already told you that.
Well, your station,
I don't need one.
You know what I mean. Your station. You better stop minding your P's and Q's.
Well, why don't you come forward and file a formal complaint so we can get your name? Because you know what happens when we get your name, punk?
That.
You go to jail.
I go to jail.
That's
really.
right.
Yes.
Because you have advocated a third-party boycott. You see, little boy, you are so stupid, you don't quite understand what the law is.
Yeah,
if you want to boycott WP... If you'll shut up a second, jerk, I'll explain it to you. If you would like to boycott WPLP, that's perfectly fine. That is well within your legal rights. But when you suggest that people boycott the sponsors of WPLP, then you have committed a third-party boycott.
Yeah, and I need you to tell me what statute that is, and where does it say it?
You'll find out, little boy.
Well, that's interesting. Since the civil rights movements of the early 60s, that was done in quite a few times.
And guess what?
What?
We just put a tap on this call. We now know who you are.
Good.
Bye-bye, little boy.
To join in the conversation.
Well, that's the boycotter, Dr. Miller.
Well, you had the final word on that, didn't you?
I always do. It's one of the joys of the job.
Well, you get to have the show, right?
Right.
I would say that your boycotter certainly doesn't like authority and wants more of it for himself. Your authority, that license in your pocket, as he says, really bothers him, that you have control. And I would say he wants more control. But he sounds like the kind of guy who'd go about it indirectly, just like he was doing, apparently, kind of behind your back, going at you, in a way where you can't really defend yourself. I don't really see him as a physical kind of threat. I'd see him more as an intellectual threat. He'd kind of go after you in a way where he can kind of surprise you.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a little man who sits at home mad, angry at the world.
Maybe a little bit of a Walter Mitty, fellow who'd like to be more powerful and is finding a way to do it.
What about Lassiter? Lassiter changes dramatically in the middle of that call when he realizes who it is that he's talking to.
Yeah, obviously this guy has gotten to you, and probably because of his methods, if he is indeed breaking the law, as you say, and doing something that is harmful, Obviously, that's pushing your buttons. You don't like being sniped at. And I guess that's where your anger comes from, because he can certainly push the buttons there.
Okay. The next caller, Mr. Airstream, for Michael's purposes. You want me to take a break now? Okay. Well, we'll take the break now, and then we'll come back and we'll talk or listen to Mr. Airstream. 9:46 the time. My guest in studio, licensed clinical psychologist Dr. Lois Mueller. Are you surprised so far, Dr. Mueller, at some of the things that you've heard tonight?
Really, maybe some of the degree of anger on both sides surprised me a little, but other than that, not too surprised.
Not the way you remember talk radio when you worked here.
I didn't get hassled quite as much as you did. The only time I really got hassled was if we talked about sex. Even though we handled it in a very professional manner, that would get me some angry calls, but I didn't get much other than that.
Some of these people really don't like me. Why are they listening to me?
Oh, you're a nice guy to hate, right? If you want to direct your anger at somebody and you've got somebody that pushes all your buttons, why not listen to it and get it out of your system? You're probably helping a lot of people with their mental health problems by giving them a place to dump some of their frustrations.
This next caller, we referred to as Mr. Airstream. I've already told you off the air. I'll tell you on the air. My listeners know it. It's not a legitimate call. Although at the time that it came in and for about 2 weeks afterwards, I didn't realize that. I thought this was for real. And we listened very, very, very carefully to this tape. And I'll explain the circumstances behind it after we listen to Mr. Airstream. Michael, if you would. St. Petersburg, welcome to WPLP.
Young man, let me tell you something right now. I come down here every year. And I've been coming down here for 24 years. Mm-hmm. And I, in my entire life, have never heard such an outrageous, outlandish person on a show.
Well, thank you.
You should be reported to the Chamber of Commerce or the FCC. I am going to write letters to the superiors.
Oh, sir, that's not necessary. Sir, that's not necessary. I have already received accommodations, or commendations, rather, from Chamber of Commerce.
I spent $800 to get down here. Alice's listening, and she's not very appreciative of what you've been doing here.
Who's not very appreciative? Who's not very appreciative?
She's very upset.
Who's upset, sir?
She's very upset.
Who is upset?
My wife is very upset, and so am I.
Well, why didn't she call?
I don't like this at all. You've got no business talking about us this way. We go to the vegetable markets almost every other day.
I'll bet you do.
I never squeeze fruit. I've spent a lot of
How about vegetables, though?
I've spent a lot of money down here. You have no right speaking of this in this matter. I had my car serviced here. I've had my car serviced here twice since I've been here.
I know, sir, and every time you come down here, about 40 of us have to have our cars serviced.
You've got no business talking about us in this manner. We are supporting you people. Don't you understand? If we quit coming down here, you'll be out of a job, sir. And
right.
I will report you, and I've heard about you before in the trailer parks. What's so funny about that, buddy?
Do you mean my fame has spread to the trailer parks?
What is so funny about living in a trailer park?
Nothing, sir.
I'm living in an Airstream right now, and I don't think it's very funny about the...
Wait a second. You come down here from where? Where was it, Iowa?
I've come all the way down here.
From Iowa?
Come all the way down
Dragging
here.
A trailer? Dragging a trailer? And you're not even staying in a motel. And you think you're supporting me?
I am supporting you and your service. You've got no business.
Sir, there aren't any. Sir, there aren't any Airstream factories in Tampa Bay.
I fought for you, and I come back to this country, and what do I have to listen to? Some young hippie such as yourself.
Well, sir, I can well understand why you would think that a 41-year-old man was a young hippie, but that's neither here nor there.
I bet you've got a convertible and there's a surfboard hanging out the back. I bet you do.
No, sir, it's a Woody with a surfboard hanging out the back.
Too.
On drugs?
Are you on drugs, sir? I bet you use marijuana and all this kind of stuff. I bet you live a very loose lifestyle.
What kind of a lifestyle?
A very loose lifestyle.
Very loose.
I'm listening to you every night, and you've got to remember this, that we might stay here.
Oh, my God! You might stay here?
I might report you. I'm going to report you to the
Trailer Park Association.
I'm going to write management a letter, and you won't like it. You'll be very afraid.
Sir, my name is Lassiter. That's Lassiter, care of the Lassiter Broadcasting Company.
You're in trouble now.
No, sir, I own the station.
You're in trouble now.
No, I own the place. My mother bought it.
And I've heard about the way you talk about our president, and I think it's a disgrace.
Why don't you write him a letter?
I've written him many letters.
Hasn't done you damn bit of good, has it?
I don't like the way you talked about Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. Me and my wife stayed at the resort for 2 weeks, and we had a lovely and various enjoyment time.
Would you park your Airstream there, or just stay in a hotel room there?
We stayed in a hotel room
Figures.
there. And we're going to go back, and I will help support his ministry.
Great.
You have done a disservice.
Could you leave tonight?
God, I have never heard anyone lambaste the ministers and a nation such as this in my entire life, sir.
Well, you're lucky you've heard somebody do it now.
I'm going to write a letter to the manager. I'm going to write a letter
That's
to
Mrs. Lassiter, Lassiter. That's the manager's name, Mrs. Lassiter.
You're in the phone book.
That's right. It's in the phone book.
Now you're making me scream, and you're making me scream and holler.
That's one of the things I do best.
Sir, why do you carry on in this manner? This is a very, very outlandish and monstrous tactic you're using.
You got it.
This is not right. Why don't you help the old people? Why don't you help us?
Sir, I'd like to help you out. Which way did you come in?
Sir, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to write you a letter. And you will receive this letter. And you won't like it. I'm going to write more than one letter. I'm going to write the station. I'm going to write the Chamber of Commerce. I, too, will write the Chamber of Commerce, and the Chamber of Commerce will be flooded with letters.
Will you put a lot of kisses at the bottom?
I bet you have a surfboard, don't you? I bet you wear short cut-off jeans and sandals and beads and probably wear sunglasses all the time. And I bet you haven't shaved in 3 months.
It's closer to 3 years, sir.
Last time you had a shave?
About 3 years ago.
Are you married or are you living in sin?
Little of each.
You continue to outrage us.
Well, thank you.
You continue to tell the whole world, the whole public here, that you're living in sin. This is monstrous. I give 10% of pay to the PTL club, and I will continue to write to PTL.
Oh, Jim's living in sin.
And I am going
to send me 10% too?
I am going to write a letter to the PTL club and tell them what you've been saying about them. And you may hear from the PTL club.
Sir, we've tried to get them on the show before. They won't come on.
You're in trouble now. You're in trouble now.
Well, sir, I guess I'll just have to wax up my board and go with the flow, you know?
I'm going to stay here. I'm going to call the police.
We're all in trouble now.
I'll call the police on you. I mean it. I'm serious.
Whoa there. You're going to call the police?
I'm threatening you now, sir. You've got me upset. I'll call the police. I swear I'll call the police. Do you want me to call the police on you? You think it's funny? I will call the police.
Do I think it's funny? Do I think it's funny? Are you kidding me?
Be afraid, aren't you?
Are you pulling my leg?
Sir, I'll lock you up. I'll have you locked up, sir. You can't do this.
That's the greatest call I've ever had in my entire career.
You think that you're...
It's probably the greatest call ever to talk radio.
You think by laughing that you're showing me that you're not afraid. You're all afraid. I know it.
Oh, God.
I've got 5 letters to write, sir.
5 letters now. Oh, my goodness, you got a busy night ahead of you.
I'm going to start right now.
Okay.
Have a bad night, hippie.
That is Mr. Airstream. Dr. Miller, what do you think?
Oh, that was quite a call. I think that you really upset this guy. I think you really had him going. He sounds like a very conservative, very traditional person, very rigid standards. I kind of found myself wondering how you can spend $800 driving down here in an Airstream.
Well, stopping at a lot of expensive motels on the way, I guess.
Yeah.
Long drive from Iowa.
But I heard him kind of get into what a lot of people do when they don't like someone. They assume if they don't like you, then you probably do all kinds of other things they don't like, use drugs and wear beads, and you're a hippie and probably anti-God and country and everything else. And I think that may well be his image of you, that you're one of these, crazy liberals from California with your surfboard tucked under your arm and everything that he really despises and has no respect for. But I think the guy really got upset with you. I think you really had him going. I would guess his blood pressure was up and his heart was racing.
Well, that's what I would have thought, too. I would have bet my paycheck on it. It turns out, a couple of weeks after we received this call, it turns out that was not an old man. It was a caller that we referred to on this program as Rocky, the Rock and Roll Klansman. Now, Rocky finally... Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Rocky had been banned from the program as well. He was one of the Magnificent Seven. And Rocky doesn't call that often, perhaps once every 2 or 3 weeks, but nonetheless he likes to have it as an outlet, and he was apparently a little miffed at me. So he started developing characters to get through, and Mr. Airstream was one of the characters. But unfortunately, when he finally fessed up to being Mr. Airstream and I let him back on the program, it has now caused me to challenge and question as to whether or not Rocky is really Rocky. Because Rocky is a very outrageous character, too. He pretends to be or portends to be, a Ku Klux Klansman. Do you think
I think that's a good suspicion to have. This guy may be an amateur actor, getting a little airtime, having a great time playing a role. And he may play lots of roles with you. He's obviously good at it.
How can I draw him out? When he calls up as Rocky,
really like?
Yeah, how can I find out if Rocky's a fraud?
I don't know. Have you checked to find out how much he knows about the Klan? Is he pretty well informed?
He would appear to be.
But then he might
from
study
my knowledge.
Right, he might study his subject well. I would guess you'd have to somehow push his button and get him out of character, but I would think that'd be pretty tough with this guy. If he can stay in, I've forgotten how long that last call was.
8 minutes.
He can stay in character that long, even though he's angry with you, and clearly doesn't agree with you or get along with you. I would think that you're going to have a tough time figuring out who he really is.
Well, Rocky is, again, one of these people that we invited to come in on many occasions, actually, not just for my vacation, but to come in as an actual guest. And has said on the air that he would, but then when it came time to make the arrangements, he was just never available. Why would somebody want the airtime so much as to go through all of that trouble to get through on a call and yet not come in to have 3 or 4 hours with me to spout any philosophy he wanted to?
Well, that's a pretty threatening thing for most lay people. Now, if this guy's really into acting, I'd be surprised that he wouldn't have taken you up on it, just to kind of be on stage. But on the other hand, you're a pretty bright guy. You're clearly above average, and I would guess you're a fairly intimidating kind of opponent to have to debate with. The people can always hang up. They can prepare whatever they want to say. When they get tired of you, they can go away. Or you can hang up on them. But if you're locked in a studio with somebody for an hour or two, that's a little bit more threatening.
Dr. Miller, I'm fresh out of time for this hour. Could I beg you to stay with me into the next hour?
On your knees.
On my knees it'll be.
Okay.
All right, the CBS News coming up at the top of the hour. We shall be back at about 6.5 minutes after 10 with my guest, Dr. Lois Mueller. We'll take some phone calls from you people, too, and we'll also check in with a few more classic callers. Don't go far. Clinical psychologist, Dr. Lois Mueller. Dr. Miller, have we heard from any people tonight that should be seeking your services?
No, not necessarily. They don't sound like they're suffering too badly. I think probably a lot of these people are lonely, and talk radio kind of fills a void for them. And probably being able to challenge you in a harmless kind of way gives them a way to vent. But I don't necessarily hear anything that concerns me too much.
Let's take some phone calls if you would like to play along with Dr. Miller, or critique, whatever, agree. 2 lines open, 1 in each county. Hillsborough, 224-0057. Pinellas, 393-0057. Hi, Tampa. You're on the air at WPLP.
Well, hello, Bobby Joe.
I'd like to speak to Dr. Miller. Doctor, are you there?
I sure am.
I called you once about a problem that had to do with father being too much, loving his wife so much that he mistreated his child because of loving the mother most.
Well, I understand, but what does that have to do with what we're doing tonight?
I think that's your problem, Bob.
No, I don't have a problem. Clearwater, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I just
We
got
didn't
back.
disturb you, did we?
You were going to hang up and I got so fast. Dr. Mueller?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember you from several years ago.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you do.
Yeah, and you were very good. I think you were duped to come into the studio tonight.
Duped?
Duped? Yeah, because I think what you're sitting there listening to is a Bob Lassiter, I don't know what you want to call it, a gratification of himself, listening of his tapes of these people that just keep calling in. You know, that tape of the guy with
Mr. Airstream.
Winnebago?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
He's only played that thing around 5 or 6 times.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes. How many times have you played that, Bob?
About 5 or 6 times,
Yes,
as you
in
just
the
said.
morning, and you keep playing that thing. And here you got Dr. Lois Mueller in there, and you haven't given her any credit. It's a shame what you've done to that woman. Why would you do that to that woman?
What do you mean he hasn't given me any credit?
Put you in there as a dupe.
Do you feel duped, Dr. Miller?
No, I don't feel duped.
You don't feel duped? Well, you should feel duped.
Okay.
Because Bob has done a lousy thing to you. He's just brought you in there as a, I don't know what you want to call it.
Maybe he brought me into...
He's run that tape of that man. It's just ridiculous what he's doing to you.
Why do you keep listening to this guy?
Why do I keep listening to him?
Yeah. Obviously, you've heard the tape all 5 times. Tell me why you keep listening to him.
Oh, that's a good question. I enjoy talk radio. I enjoy it.
Despite Bob Lassiter.
Well, I enjoy Bob Lassiter.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Huh.
But why does he keep playing this poor old guy's tape?
Good question. Ask him that.
Bob, why do you keep playing that tape?
Funniest damn thing I've ever heard in my life.
It is funny. Do you think that's funny?
I laughed, and Dr. Miller can attest to this, I laughed listening to it again.
Really?
Almost as hard as I did the first time I heard it.
Really? Well...
You think maybe Bob gets bored and then he puts that on to amuse himself?
I don't know. You answer that question for me.
Well, that's a theory. It's one possibility. But I don't feel duped. I came here to have a good time tonight and kind of chit-chat about people and get a chance to talk to some of you out there that I used to talk to when I had my own show here.
Yeah. Well, you had a good show, but I think you're just being duped, and I'm sorry. I just think you're...
being duped, yes.
Good opinions of things
got
and all
that
that
message.
Excuse me?
I said we think we got the message that you believe that Dr. Miller is being duped.
Yeah? Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Keep listening. Apollo Beach, hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
Yeah, Dr. Miller.
Yes.
Let's see if this makes sense. When Lassiter first come to this area, and I listened to his program, I didn't like him one little bit. And the calls that I made were, nothing you say is right, and I would really get on his case.
Uh-huh.
And, but I became, like I told him one night, it's a long time ago, he don't remember, but I said, I've become addicted to you, bud. And then, the more I listened to him, well, I'd make a long story short, he's in the cause of me changing my party, because the man is really intelligent and we really need him here. Now, what's happened lately is the fact that when some of these people have called in and zinged him, I've tried to get on right after him and zing back at his zingers.
No kidding, you've become his cheerleader.
Yeah, and I've done that, the best that I can, and as I said, we really need him, and I don't like to see people get on his case. Does that make sense?
Sure it does. If you like the man, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, I do, and I'm one of them also. Of course, he's recognizing my voice when I tell him I'm Apollo Beach, but you see, this line that we come on is the Tampa line, and I've
changed my voice a couple of times, too. Not in a negative way against him, but what I've been trying to do is when he gets reeled down, and I'm telling you, like this last week, he can get reeled down. And I don't like to see that. I don't like to see him sit back like he did this week, and just sit there and say, you guys just go ahead and do what you want, because I don't like it. It just really hurts me,
Mm-hmm.
I'll do anything I can. I'll come back and make some remark about Tammy, or one night I even read a dissertation on the book of her Revivalations. I don't know whether he remembers.
Oh, yeah, I remember that call.
Well, I told him I was from Temple Terrace, and I used the deep voice and all. But the whole purpose of what I'm doing, as I said, I want to hear him laugh. I don't like to see him get upset. And so if that makes any sense to you, then it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'd say you're a good friend for him to have. You're clear about him, and you want to cheer him up when he's down, and you've certainly done a complete turnaround with how you feel about that.
100%, because as I said, I come to realize, at first, although I may have I disagreed violently with him back in the Philippines, when we had the Philippine thing and all that, and but again, I said, this guy really makes some sense, and so now I've turned completely around, and I said, we need him here. We need Bob Lassiter to be what made him the top dog in this area. And it just burns me to see him sit there and just let somebody take over the station or over his program, and him say he can't stand it. I don't like it, but I was like, well, I can only talk one time a night. I'd like to get on there and just get on all of them, which I do. Okay.
Well, I thank you very much.
Hey, Bob. Bye-bye.
Take care. You're holding up your hands, Michael. Why? Oh, okay. We have Southside Johnny next. Okay, this call is relatively long. It's about 9.5 minutes. I didn't trim this one down because this is a very complex caller. He has called me perhaps half a dozen times in the 20 months that I've been here. And, well, I won't tell you any more about the call than that. We usually go over the same thing each and every time he calls. I've dubbed him Southside Johnny because he says he's from Chicago. So we'll just listen in on Southside Johnny, and I'm really curious what you have to say about this man when we're through. Michael, if you would do the honors, Southside Johnny. From Madura Beach, hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
I'm Mr. Lassiter, Gloom and Doom Lassiter.
Oh, it's the drug dealer.
Oh, no, that's a terrible thing to say.
Oh, well, I don't blame you for being offended by it. I'd be offended by it if I was a drug dealer and somebody called me a drug dealer.
I was out of town.
Right, you've been out of town for a long time.
Oh, yes, but
more ways than one.
I know that you're shocked. How do you feel to be in the minority with the other people that on Reagan, the senile old man, by every indication I just see that the Times put him on the front page, who is the most liberal I can ever find, says that he come out smelling like a rose.
I don't give a damn what the Times says. I couldn't care less what the Times says.
Oh, in other words...
What, am I supposed to be impressed with what the Times says just because you're impressed with what Spotlight says?
Oh, but you and your little minorities, your little guys...
Well, you see, fella, there's your problem. It doesn't bother me to be in a minority. The only thing I care about is being right or wrong.
Oh,
it's jerks like you who have to be in a majority. It doesn't make any difference to you whether you're right or wrong, just as long as everybody else thinks just the way you do.
Well, I could care less what anybody... I don't care about... I'm not a...
Oh, I know you don't care about people. I appreciate that. I mean, we know that because you have been a drug dealer for years and years and years.
You never said that.
I know you didn't say it, but it's what you are.
Oh, no. See, you put words in the...
No, I don't put words in anybody's mouth. You're a dope dealer.
And a car
dealer.
You're
a dope dealer.
Oh, see, I've been a car dealer.
No, you haven't been a car dealer. You're at a bar in the south side of Chicago. You're a dope dealer.
Well, now, how does that, the 63rd and Cottage Grove, the place that I ran the bar, was a very ethical place.
Right, real ethical. Selling dope.
I wouldn't have let you in there.
Uh-huh. I wouldn't have gone in there.
Well, no, the way you look, I guess not.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I just want to know, how come you don't want to answer the poor senile...
I did answer, sir.
You didn't answer.
Yes, I did. It doesn't bother me to be in a minority.
Oh, you... but...
I mean, if you can buy such inane things as, well, the Iranians made a very strong pitch indicating that they were no longer interested in terrorism, and I believed it. I mean, if you can buy that kind of stuff and think that's coming out smelling like a rose, then you go right ahead. There's obviously nothing that anybody could do to reason with you.
Well, not with me. How about reasoning with me? People like you and your followers that are inane, people that are working in their 30s and 40s on minimum wage.
Yeah.
When you were on your crusade, people like you that went bankrupt or deadbeats, you are wanting to impress people that you're something. Anybody that comes up here as you by your own.
No. Hey, Bozo. I'm not the one that comes. I'm not the one that comes on the air and tries to tell people how wealthy I am. So to prove that I'm
the one
smart.
That tries to impress your people.
Yes, sir. I impress people with my intellect.
Intellect.
Not with a dissertation. Not with a dissertation of my worldly goods, as though that's supposed to mean something.
You're the one that you constantly bowl people over with your voice. Constantly.
Yeah,
if I, in my 40s, would come up here like you said you did, in 18 months, you're flat ass broke and you're living out of your car until you got your job here at your station, and you're living hand to mouth. How come you're not down there really helping those damn stupid homeless people and all that crap? You have never done a thing. But
you have no idea what I've done. First of all, you have no idea what I've done.
I know what you've done. I went out of my way to find out. You
went out of your way to find out?
You know, that Catholic broad, I talked to her about you, and you haven't done doodly twat to even emphasize. You've talked about her good. So I've acquired one thing. You're a real
AIDS, I hope.
You're a con artist. You talk a big stick, but you do nothing. You do nothing. You just talk, which I can't blame you there. You're making a buck.
Don't you wish you could talk?
Hey, I talked very well. I'm 65.
Why don't you start now?
I'm 65. I travel good. I live good. I don't think you'll do as well,
good.
Bucko. I don't think you'll do as well.
No, you hope I won't do as well.
Oh, I could care less. See,
what do you mean you could care less? You lay awake at night worrying about me. Give me a break.
That's another thing that bugs me about you. You seem to think that people worry. The only thing that bugs me with you, your conceit and the way you lead.
I know, and it bugs you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I compare you to Jim Baker. Like I said today, Jim Baker had these dumb-ass people that followed him, and you get the same low class. You get a few failures that are...
I know, I got you, don't I? Got you hooked, baby. You wouldn't miss one of these shows for nothing.
I'm gone most of the...
Right, I know you're gone, but nonetheless you're there listening.
How it went last night. I just know that... I would have loved to heard... I bet you berated President Reagan. You really put him down. And you try to put us guys that try to make a buck on the poor man. You know, we try to make a buck, but I'm not a hypocrite. I get careless about these homeless people.
Two-faced liar.
I get about them.
But you don't have the intelligence to be a hypocrite. You're just a common liar.
I'm not a
liar. It takes a degree of intelligence, you say, to be a hypocrite. To be a hypocrite, you have to say one thing and do another. And you couldn't possibly do two things at once.
Well, now, say what you're meaning. I will bet. I've always been a gambler, and I'm not a fraud. I can say and I can back up anything I say.
Right.
So what are you saying that I'm a fraud? What is it that I'm a fraud at?
Didn't say you were a fraud. I said you're a common liar.
Well, how am I a liar? Just tell me.
We've tripped you up at least a half dozen times in your phone calls to this radio station.
Well, you see, you're being evasive with me now.
I'll give you two examples right off the top of my head. Your $18,000 a year gardener that you don't pay $18,000 a year to, and the number of times you have come out to see me.
There. See, now you're going back in the thing. No, my yard man, and I didn't say a gardener. My yard man.
Mm-hmm.
That was during when the seawall went down, and I will admit. It really blew my mind because my insurance don't cover my damn seawall. It broke my heart. I had to pay it. But, no, other than that, no, my yard man is only, 100 times 12 is $1,200 a year.
Of course, you told us 18,000, not once, but twice.
Well, it cost the 18,000 was the seawall.
Uh-huh.
Well, now...
See what I mean, common liar?
Oh, that's not a lie. You're the one that does all the crap. You get all these people thinking that you're so...
I know. Isn't that terrible? You really are upset that I get people thinking, aren't you?
Your body, your own self. You can't control your weight. You can't control the fact that you smoke. You obviously hide your face because of that stupid beard. You're overweight. You just don't have it, except you've got a terrific God's gift.
But there's one thing I do have, you know?
Oh, you got
There's one thing I do have, and you know what that is?
What's
the ability to sucker people like you to listen to me night after night after night, and then I have another ability, and that's the ability to sucker people like you into calling up so I can rip them to shreds and make fools of them.
You haven't ripped me to thread, bucko. You know that because you don't have anything. I want to see what you're going to do. You probably won't be there. You're going to be bumping that 50 mark and 55 mark, and then you're going to realize what you're talking about. Then you're going to bleed a little bit, bucko. Then you're going to...
You're dreaming, baby.
But I had mine made when I was in my 40s.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Well, you're going to realize
Yes, by selling dope.
Oh, no, you're saying that. I'm not saying that.
I know you're not saying it. You keep denying it, but nonetheless you sold alcohol, which is a narcotic.
Well, my
you sold
God.
misery and pain to people. Deliberately sold misery and pain to people. I wonder how many women were beat up by men that you sold dope to. I wonder how many children were abused by people that you sold dope to. I wonder how many people were thrown out of their homes or their apartments who spent their rent money on the dope that you were selling. I wonder how many.
Oh, you're really good. Oh, you're really going to work up a good program tonight till 9 o'clock and using me as the crutch of it. But, you know, that's really ridiculous because there's no truth to that at all. I'm a highly respected citizen, and I pay my taxes.
Those Ivan Boesty.
They only caught me twice, and I'm 65, and that's pretty damn good.
Only caught you doing what twice?
On reneging on my income tax.
Oh, you're an income tax cheat too.
Oh yeah, I'll put that on. I paid. Oh, did I pay?
Sure, when you got caught.
Well, sure. There's no question about it. But I'm on. See,
highly respected citizen,
like you are.
On top of being a dope dealer, you're a thief.
Oh,
stealing from the people.
The way they are. What are you? You're just a guy behind a microphone that tries to play the point of God, and these idiots call up and say, "Oh God, Bob, oh how you are so smart. You're so educated," and you're just a dummy behind an AM station that. A guy like me that is his boredom at 65 gets a real charge. I really get a kick out of you. I have no anger with you. If I met you sometime, I'd even get a kick out of. I'd buy you a drink.
No, you wouldn't.
Man, your propensities, would never have a drink or anything.
Not with you.
Oh,
I'm very selective with who I drink with.
Well, I would look down on you too.
Rather drink with a wild swine than drink with you.
Now you talk about people that throws bad derogatory remarks. Look what you're doing, throwing at me, and you have no idea about me. You don't.
Sure I do. You've told me all about it yourself. You're a liar, a dope dealer, and a thief.
Oh, I never told you any such thing. You're lying and you're twisting things.
I'm not twisting anything. You're just getting caught up in the web, baby.
Oh, no.
Come into my parlor, said the fighter to the flag.
Okay, my friend. I say that very, very, very laxadocious. Let's put it that way.
The way you say everything.
Well,
why don't you try to put your teeth in the next time before you call, huh?
Well, your day will come, bucko. And as fat as you are, they will... Their gums.
Well, you know something? You're absolutely right about my being fat. I am incredibly overweight.
Control over your body.
I am just incredibly overweight. I am miserably fat.
How come you don't have control?
But
you don't stop.
You are obnoxious. Tomorrow I'm going to go on a diet. What are you going to do? St. Peter's Southside Johnny.
Southside Johnny's quite a guy. He sounds like he has some pretty easy morals, so he could pretty well justify anything he's done over his lifetime. I don't know.
Do you believe him? Do you think he's what he purports to be, a retired, successful former businessman?
I would guess that maybe he had a bar or worked in a bar as a bartender. If you ever pay much attention to what goes on in bars. There's not very much truth spoken between people. Everybody has an $18,000 gardener or whatever, and they all have property in Bermuda and all kinds of things like that. People really work overtime at impressing each other. So I guess he may have been in that environment for a long time and could pretty much compete with the others on that level.
A couple of people tonight that you've listened to have tried to get me with my weight. I'm overweight. No two ways about it. I've always admitted to it. It's kind of hard to hide. Whalebone corsets are very difficult to find these days. It obviously doesn't bother me. Why do they keep trying?
Well, it's one thing they can point to that's not right, not perfect, and most people who are overweight are uncomfortable about it, so they can assume that you are. I think it'd be unusual for somebody not to be uncomfortable about it in our weight-conscious society. So they probably figure it's a way to nail you, just like your beard or anything else.
Does not, or do not, these people, did not Southside Johnny realize that for 10 minutes, really slightly over 10 minutes, he was just constantly being hit over the head?
No, I don't really think he did. He seemed to have trouble making his point, and he had trouble following you. And I don't think he really knew exactly always how much you were getting to him. I mean, he would clearly try to fight back, but I really didn't think that he got most of what you were saying.
Is there a pattern that is developing in these calls? We've heard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them now. Is there a pattern?
Oh, somewhat. All these people want to hear themselves. They feel that they have something very definite to say, and they all want to say something to you personally. It becomes very personal. Yet they're different in how bright the people are, how verbally skilled they are, and probably how well they can defend what points they're trying to make. But I would say they're all very much personally wanting to take you on.
Michael, are we set up for the bowler, the first one on the tape tonight? Mr. Jerk, whatever. We're not set up for that yet? Okay. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we will talk with the bowler. 10:33, the time at News Talk 57 WPLP. I'm Bob Lassiter. My guest in studio, clinical psychologist Dr. Lois Mueller. Dr. Mueller, we are getting an unbelievable number of off-air hate calls tonight.
You say we, is that you and me?
We, the station. I'm sure they're not for you. I haven't really had a chance to talk with Michael, my producer, to find out what they're saying, but I can see them coming in and going.
Uh-huh.
Why is that?
I would guess that it's kind of a thing of the anger and hate that you're playing from the old calls kind of breeds more of the same. It appeals to other people. They hear other people going after you one call after another because these are the kind of tapes you're playing, and they want to get on the act and essentially do the same thing.
Are we humiliating the people whose tapes we have played?
I wouldn't think so. I would think that they might resent being analyzed. If you can call what I'm doing analyzing, quick kind of gut reaction to what might be going on. But I don't think that most of what I'm saying is likely to put them down or humiliate them. I would think they'd like hearing themselves, but probably would like to call and defend themselves.
Is there any value to what we're doing, or is this just pure entertainment?
I see it as pure entertainment.
Do you mind being used as an entertainer?
I don't consider myself being used.
Okay, because I look at your resume here. It is extremely impressive. And here I've brought you in to...
Dupe to me, as one of your callers said.
Yeah, right. I've duped you into coming in, and we're just having some fun. Are we having fun?
I'm having fun. That's why I came to do the show tonight. I have to be serious all day long.
But there are apparently an awful lot of people out there who don't think this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Judging from those hate calls off the air. Why would that be? Why can't they see what we're doing?
They may feel a lot like the callers that you're taping and playing tonight. And those people may be fairly serious, that they don't like what you say, or they don't like you personally, or they may not like me and what I'm saying. And I think that they don't have that sense of humor. They don't have that distance to stand back and be a little bit objective and say, oh, this is just a show to kind of play the funny tapes or the angry tapes or whatever. They see it as very serious business.
Question about Lassiter. I'm not trying to be self-serving, but a lot of what we've heard tonight is really funny. And a lot of it is funny because of what the callers say. A lot of it's funny because of what I say. But what I'm doing could also be interpreted as somewhat cruel by some people. Do you see it as cruel?
The only thing that I would see as cruel would be, as I said earlier, when you go for the jugular, when you know you have a sense of or an instinct for what is the person's weak spot. Let's say they don't have friends, and you go for that. I think that's more cruel than calling the person names, because that's kind of a back and forth give and take thing. You both call each other names. It doesn't really mean much. People laugh at it. But I think probably the harshest thing you do is when you really go after that one or two things that they're embarrassed about or that they'd rather never have you know. I don't know if you always know that you're doing it. Do you?
Excuse me. I've done it maybe 3 or 4 times, and only with people that I've talked with on the air previously. People who usually tend to annoy me. And, yes, I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm doing, and it is an instinctive thing, and you catch on that when people call you at 9:30, 10:30 at night, night in and night out, regardless of the weather, regardless of the season, but they are probably sitting there alone. And, yes, it's to basically try to get rid of them, to see if I can hurt them, if I can drive them away.
Really?
Yeah, we don't need this one anymore. We've gotten all the mileage out of this that's possible.
But you don't want to drive them away permanently, just for the evening or whatever?
No, drive them away permanently.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why I will really
does it
go
work?
for it. No.
I didn't think so. You need another approach.
Well, for example, the petitioner who, and his friend Jim, he's probably called me half a dozen times since then. No, it didn't work. Oh, well. Can you suggest something that might, by the way?
You might get all your listeners together into a club so they'd have each other and they wouldn't need you anymore.
Oh, joy. All right, the next call that we're going to listen to came in tonight, probably about 8:15, if memory serves me. And we just thought it was worthwhile to quickly put on the tape and to play back to you. We shall call this man the Bowler. I refer to him during the call as the Jerk or Mr. Jerk. And it runs about 8 minutes, and it goes something like this. Michael, if you would. Why, Pinellas County, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hello?
Hello.
Mr. Lassiter?
Yes.
Well, gee whiz, we got by your producer.
That's correct.
And how about that? And anyway, I've got this so far thing in front of me.
Great.
And got some signatures on it.
Fantastic.
Only one thing that bothers me.
What's that?
It is the sacred right of all Americans to freedom of expression.
Mm-hmm.
You say first of it is broadcasters, correct?
I beg your pardon?
The first of it is on broadcasters.
The first of it is on broadcast? I don't know what you mean.
Well, the first part of the statement. We, the understanding, so demand so.
Yes, that's
it's
correct.
The sacred right of all Americans to freedom of expression.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, you have not been giving us the freedom of expression. You invite us to call in. And then you cut us off.
Yes, sir.
Well, sir, last night...
Well, you see, sir, the First Amendment does not extend to talk radio. The First Amendment extends to broadcasters, newspaper publishers. It does not, there is no law under the sun that...
sacred right of all
I wasn't quite finished. There's no law under the sun, for example, that would require a newspaper to publish a letter to the editor. They do so at their own discretion. There is no law under the sun that requires me to put up with an obnoxious or a rude caller.
But you can be obnoxious and I can't.
That's correct.
Well, how about that? So we do have a double standard, don't we?
If you'd like to look at it that way, yes.
Yes, sir. Well, anyway, since you're on air, and if you permit me about 10 seconds, your phone is the $3 bill.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
so you're the one that's phonies the $3 bill and the jackass, because this is the second time you've tried this one on me about I have the so far petition in front of me.
Fortunately, jackasses can't do anything with themselves. They cannot reproduce themselves. And God bless it, because the good Lord made us this way. And jackasses can't reproduce themselves, and we want to have any more children.
You're the phony and the jackass, because this is the second... What do you think, I don't remember? The second time you tried this.
On an intellectual level, I'll go toe-to-toe you any day.
Oh,
you're a jackass and trying to make everybody jackasses around you, and God bless you, you can't be reproduced.
Sir, you're the one that sits home and listens to it every night, and you're going to go toe-to-toe with me intellectually?
Until last night, I just wondered whether or not I'm going to send in this 25...
give me a break. What do you mean till last night?
You got a double standard. You can do any damn thing you want.
That's right, sir.
But I can't.
That's correct.
Well, then I'm going to tear this damn thing up, then, because...
Well, you were going to tear it up last week, sir. What happened?
It says here, it is the sacred right of all Americans to freedom of expression, and you invite me to call and everybody else, and all of a sudden you say, no, it is our prerogative. Broadcasters and the editor of the newspaper, you can write a letter to the editor.
Right, sir. You see, sir, jerk,
double standard hell.
Mr. Jerk, you see...
It's jerk. And you're jackasses, and I'm glad you're not going to reproduce yourself, because the people out here, the silent majority,
Mr. Jerk,
going to see, and you talk to Dr. Mueller about
Jerk.
I know Dr. Mueller, and let her listen to this.
Oh, she's going to. Mr. Jerk, there are two problems,
because
you see. First of all...
the biggest jerk that we got in the area...
just lower his volume a tad, okay. You see, Mr. Jerk, there are two problems. The first is you're not reading from the petition, because that's not what the petition says.
Why don't you
The second problem is, Mr. Jerk, is that the First Amendment protects you from the government, not from me.
Hell, we need to be protected.
You see, Mr. Jerk?
Like you.
So we already... because
I can't talk except you let me.
That's right, Mr. Jerk. You can bring his level back up.
Mr. Jerk, Mr. Jackass, same to you. God bless you.
Sir, there ain't no God.
Oh, come on. You said last night you believe in God.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I did not, sir.
Oh, somebody called you, and I listened to you for an hour and a half. I was on the way home from a big deal yesterday. I worked...
a big deal? What was it, bowling night?
Sir?
What was it, bowling night?
Oh, no, I did some things that you wouldn't do. I did some things...
What, were you out walking around in your dress?
Sir?
You said you did something that I wouldn't do. Were you out walking around in your dress and your high heels?
No. It seems that I was helping some people. That's all.
You were hopping some people?
Sure. And I'm helping you, too, you jackass. Because you need some help. You're so far out.
What do you mean I need some help? I'm the guy with a big job. You're the one that goes out bowling on Thursday night.
I've got a big job, too, helping people like you. Because the thing is, you're not really expressing yourself. You just got a show. What do you mean I just have a show? You have the audacity to sit there and tell me...
Number one rated show. Suckers people like you into listening to it every single night. I'm sitting here getting rich. You're sitting home getting mad.
No, I'm not getting mad at you being rich. I'm getting mad at the fact that you are trying to mislead people, and that you are not
trying to mislead people.
If you talk to Dr. Mueller, then she's going to tell you you're a good person. You really are a good person. And all we do is get out here and start yelling names at one another, and the commies going to take over because we kill ourselves.
The commies are going to take
over. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
how about the Trilateral Commission? You worried about them too?
About who?
The try to read my lips. The Trilateral Commission.
Absolutely.
I figured.
Absolutely.
David Rockefeller?
That's the aspect of it. That's the other aspect. That is the group of people who've got all the bucks.
What is your bowling average anyway?
My bowling average is about 200.
I told you were out bowling last night.
I didn't bowl for 20 years, 25 years.
You lie about everything.
No, sir.
You're going to dub you the liar.
Last time I bowled, I beat my brother-in-law and embarrassed him, and I quit bowling because he was a professional bowler.
Oh, great.
And I just happen to be good at what I do.
Oh, wait a second. I want to take my shoes off.
Right. I'm
not going to ruin my shoes over this call.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you talk to Dr. Mueller, and she'll tell you, I'm going to tell you what she's going to tell you. She's going to tell you, you're a hell of a good guy. You're a smart man.
Right. Oh, wait a second. Just a moment ago, I was a jerk.
I haven't seen you in the place.
Or a jackass.
But I would say
you're the jerk.
You are an acceptable...
sometimes.
You're an acceptable human being.
An acceptable human
physically.
being. Physically.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be married. Except you got a...
How do you know? Maybe my wife likes freaks, you know?
You got a mouth just like I do.
I beg your pardon. Mine works far better than yours.
Well, you get your foot in your mouth, and so have I, and this is why I understand you so well.
Right.
Now we're on track.
No, we're not, sir.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Because you see, dear sir, you let Dr. Mueller psychoanalyze you. And I know about this lady, and you're talking about one of the best in
Flag this one, Michael. I want this one on tonight.
No, I don't want to take up more of your time.
Oh, okay.
Somebody else to tell you what to do.
All right.
Okay.
Take care there.
God bless you.
Oh, brother. He says he knows you, Dr. Miller. Does he?
Well, maybe from my radio program. I don't recognize his voice.
You never heard that voice before in your life,
Well,
as far as you can remember.
I can't swear to that. But I don't specialize in remembering voices. I remember problems.
What else would... I guess you'll remember that voice then from now on. What else would you have to say about the bowler?
This fellow's interesting. He's very polite, and he has a real sense of fairness. What pushes his buttons, what gets him angry is when something's unfair. And I would guess that in the past he's been misled, and he's been treated unfairly, and that's what really riles him. But he clearly basically wants to get along with you and likes you.
But he called last Friday, or Thursday, I can't remember which now, with the exact same thing. I've got the petitions here in front of me, but now I don't think I'm going to send them in. Does he really think that's getting to me?
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. But I don't see him as really that hostile at all. I think he was surprised that you weren't going to be more fair about this double standard thing, that you can cut him off, but he can't cut you off. You can talk over him or whatever, and I think that really bothered him. He kind of left him wondering just how he's going to feel about you. But basically, the guy, I think he likes you. He likes talking to you, and aside from this fairness issue, I don't think he's really got a beef with you.
One final tape. The man that we call, we call the tape Lunch with God. Michael, if you'll do the honors. Temple Terrace, hi, you're on the air, WPLP.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't know quite how to say this, but I'm equal with Jesus Christ, and that ain't good. Mr. Lassiter, I've seen God Almighty, and at age 6 in Orlando, Florida, he appeared to me with the angel wisdom.
I thought he was much older than 6.
Well, at age 6. I probably have the mentality of a 12-year-old like Christ. Mm-hmm. But he appeared to me at age 6 in a dream and said he would find my father, who was away in World War II. And then in March 5th, 1978, I saw him in person with the angel wisdom. And I've seen Michael the Archangel.
Where did that take place?
Pardon?
Where did that take place?
In San Bernardino County, California.
Uh-huh.
Heaviest rainstorm.
Oh, that's where he bought you the hamburger or something, right?
Roast beef sandwich.
Roast beef sandwich.
And I prophesied, in 1984,
You should call this guy Old Faithful. He calls once every 2 months. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I prophesied in 1984 to Governor Graham that God would shut down Cape Kennedy if the penal codes weren't put in junior and senior high school. And actually, it was shut down until 1988. And but what scares the heck out of me is that I have no salvation, like Christ has no salvation, because in Isaiah 44:5 it tells about 3 false saviors that were to come along and test Israel, and I'm the third one. There's been miracles in my life, and I've prophesied and they've come true, but somehow God is going to put a spirit in me, evidently, that's going to make me think I'm a savior, like what happened to Christ.
Uh-huh.
And Muhammad, who taught Friday was a Sabbath, and all human beings should have the same seventh-day Sabbath. Mm-hmm. But what should I do? I have no salvation. I won't be resurrected because I've seen the face of God. I'm just marking time, sleeping, eating, smoking, sleeping, eating, smoking. Nobody will hire me because I'm.
Are you just a winter visitor, or do you live here year-round?
I was born in Orlando. I have family in Tampa.
Well, you're not a winter
I've lived in California most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, take off for California.
No, I was just curious as to whether or not you were just a winter visitor or...
no, I've been there a couple of years.
Resident.
I've been here since 1984.
Lucky us.
I had dreams to come here, so I came. And a spirit gave me the restricted national security hotline in the White House, and I freaked out their red button. I called so many times that when they tested the system, they thought I was calling, and they gave an improper response. They talk about me in the White House. I can even call collect once in a while. Well, what should I do, Bob? But I'll tell you this.
You have the number for the hotline?
In the White House, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was spoken into my ear, and then they changed all the numbers, and God gave me all the new numbers. Now I guess they've quit trying to change the numbers around, and they just kind of put up with me.
Well, hey, I mean,
harmless.
If I was dealing with a crank caller like you and God kept giving you my new number, I'd give up trying to change them, too.
But I don't know what to do.
After the last time you called here, we considered changing the numbers.
You can't get away.
No.
You can't get away from it. Well, listen, I just wanted to share my grief that I'm equal with Christ because...
Oh, you've shared your grief.
And I wish you well. I have more respect for God than you do, though, because I like his...
well, hell, he buys you sandwiches. He isn't, if he came down and bought me a sandwich, perhaps I'd mend my ways.
Yeah, but then that'd mean you wouldn't be resurrected. Because if you see the face of God, you die.
Well, I'd close my eyes.
And you just want a roast beef sandwich free.
That's right.
Maybe I'll send you one.
Well, it wouldn't be quite the same.
No, it wouldn't. But I've seen his face, the one who created everything.
Son of a gun.
But I have no salvation, Mr. Lassiter.
Yeah, but you got the number to the hotline.
Yeah, that's fine. That kind of keeps my life going.
And some great memories of that time that you and God had lunch.
Would you like to put out the number to the Oval Office?
Nah, I don't think I'd want to do that.
Okay.
No, I got enough trouble.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Lunch with God, Dr. Miller.
That's quite a story. This last fellow reminds me kind of the theme that I see running through these calls, and that is a real wanting of power, wanting to be special. And if you're not special enough, then you kind of create it either through an illusion or a delusion. You pretend, your imagination gets carried away with you, but you become special somehow. And I think probably that's part of why you get the angry calls that you do. You're special here. You're the star of this show. You've got a fair amount of power. And I think a lot of the people calling you feel fairly powerless, and they want some of that. And they may resent you a little bit for having it.
Does he believe what he was telling me, or is he just kind of pulling my leg?
It's hard to tell. He sounded very, lighthearted and positive, and yet kind of admitted that was taking something to keep him going. When you kidded him about having the hotline number, he said, "Yeah, well, that kind of keeps me going." I think the guy has some problems, and he was sort of admitting to that. How much he believes what he says, I don't know.
How do I handle a caller like that? Did I handle that one properly?
I think so. I think I wouldn't get down on someone who believes like he does, because you really don't know what this belief means to him or how much it's holding him together. And you don't want to destroy somebody. We all have defenses. And some people need more elaborate ones than others to make it in this world. And you don't want to push on somebody who may really be propped up a little bit by some of these beliefs.
Okay, Michael, do we have time for that one last one? Yeah, because I'm kind of losing track. All right, one final one. This is relatively short. This also came in tonight from someone I'm not really sure if I've ever talked with before, but here it goes. Sweet Pete, you're on the air at WPLP.
Bob?
Yes.
Did I understand you to say that you were number 4, rated number 4, and John Eastman 2?
No, ma'am. I said John Eastman had a 2 share and I had a 4 share.
A 4 what?
A 4 share.
Well, I think
it's actually 4.5.
Number 4, they should be the ones that should be psychologically analyzed tonight.
Mm-hmm. You mean people like yourself?
Like you.
No, people like... No, ma'am. Ma'am, you see, it's people like you that have made me the top-rated Tampa Bay talk show host. Dr. Miller?
Well, this lady clearly doesn't like you, and she meant business. Interesting, this is the first woman, I think, that you've had on tape, isn't it?
Yes, I had a couple of others that we just didn't get to tonight.
Uh-huh. But I think she means business. I mean, she clearly doesn't like you. She hung up on you. She didn't have anything but that to say. And obviously likes John Eastman better. I would say that of the callers you've had, she's probably meant business more than any of the others. The others want to banter with you and kind of argue it out. She wanted nothing to do with you. She just wanted to let you have it and hang up.
Hit and run artist, though.
Exactly.
But again, she listens to the show probably every single night.
Yeah. Well, you have some intelligent commentary. You present some interesting ideas, and I think people respect that.
Is it healthy for the rest of us to be amused by some of the people we listen to tonight?
Oh, I think if you're not amused, then you're pushing some mental health problems. You have to be able to laugh and have a sense of humor. If you don't have, then you have some problems.
And it isn't terribly cruel or unfair to have a good time at these poor souls' expense.
You're not feeling guilty, are you, Bob?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Just want to know if I should.
Yeah, I have a feeling you want me to say it's okay.
Please.
You're not really destroying these people. I guess let them answer that for you. I'm sure you'll hear from them in other calls and other shows. But I think as long as they understand that you're doing it in a lighthearted way.
Dr. Miller, I thank you very, very much. I've had a lot of fun tonight, and I hope you have too. And perhaps we'll hear you back on the air someday with your own show.
Thank you.
Behave yourselves, everybody. Have a good weekend.